Sellers, if your house has been sitting on the market longer than it should be, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's one of these 7 things. And yes, I'm including one that most agents avoid. And reasons 4 and 5 push buyers away almost instantly. By the way, my name is Tony and I help people sell houses here in the GTA. So if you're living in Milton, Georgetown, Burlington, and anywhere in between, reach out to me. My contact information is below. And I'll give you the real strategy and no sugarcoating so you can sell your house easily and for the most money. If your home is just sitting there, no offers, no showings, let's talk about what's actually going on. And I can tell you it's probably one of these 7 things. Let's start with number 1, and this is one that most buyers feel, but they don't say it out loud. Your price does not match the market when it comes to your house. Here's what usually happens. A seller sees what their neighbor sold for last year. Then they decide, I'm going to add a little bit more because of the updates. And then the seller adds a little bit more because they decide they're not in a rush. And then they add a little bit more thinking that the market's going to go crazy. And then they add a little bit more thinking I can always come down. And then boom, your house is priced based on emotion, not on the market value. And let's be clear, buyers don't care about your neighbor. They don't care about your timeline. They don't care of the small little updates that you've done. They don't care about how much money you need to get out of your house. All they care about is comparing your house to every other house in your neighborhood that's currently listed that they can buy today. Not last year, not next year, not 3 years ago. The market today. Here's a story for you. I had a buyer reach out to me and they needed to buy a home pretty quickly. And they found the number 1 home, but they also found the number 2 home and the number 3 home. Just in case that number 1 home didn't work out, they had at least 2 other backups. And that's what sellers are doing today. They're not emotionally tied to any house until they actually purchased a house. And there's 2 other homes that they could fall back to. And I'll tell you, this was just 7 homes of the 100 and change that were available for sale in that area. So you see, buyers aren't looking at to see what you have going on. They're looking at their number, their viewpoint, their life, and how this will affect them. You know your house is overpriced when you see symptoms immediately. You're either going to have no showings or you're going to have so few showings that the ones that you do have aren't even converting to offers. Or the offers that do come in are so low, they're almost insulting. And the longer your house sits on the market, the buyers begin to wonder what is wrong with it. Let me go back to the buyer where I showed the 7 houses to. The house that they like the most has been on the market for 35 days. It's never had an offer and it's been sitting there for quite a while. When I ran the numbers on the current value of the house in today's market, the house should have been priced $75,000 less than it's currently listed at. Here's one thing you don't want to hear as a seller. Pricing is a magnet. Buyers are attracted to pricing first before anything else. Let's look at a real example of how a house should be priced. This is the exact strategy that I used when determining a price for a potential client. This is based on real data, not any emotions. First thing I'm doing is looking at the neighborhood and seeing what is selling. Is the pricing trending upward or downward? In a lot of neighborhoods, we're seeing the pricing trend downwards. Next, I look at what is selling. What do those homes have? Are they single story, bungalows, semis, townhomes? Are they selling with updates or without? Then I compare those homes to your home. I pull a list of homes together, and this is where you become really objective. Is your house better than the list that I just gave you? Or is your house worse than the list I gave you? And you got to be honest with yourself. And this is what buyers are currently doing. And then the next thing I do is looking at the active competition. Because again, the buyers are doing this. Remember, I saw 7 of the 140 plus houses available to sell. Buyers are going to take a look at exactly what's out there. And they're going to be comparing your house to everything that's there. And the truth be said is they're visiting all those homes, not just yours. And then they're going to decide which house is best for them. And here's a dead giveaway that you're priced too high. If your neighborhood has 3 houses up for sale and all 3 are selling before yours do, you're probably overpriced. And here's another dead giveaway. If another house comes up on the market and it sells before your house sells, your house is definitely overpriced. Or guess what? You just don't have the good marketing, good photos, or a good agent. And that's where I come in. My contact information is below. Fill out my quick questionnaire on getting your home sold. Another quick tip is looking at expired listings. These are homes in the neighborhood that have tried to sell and didn't. Look at the pricing. That's a good indication of why homes aren't selling, is their pricing and why they expired. If you price too high, you're going to repel buyers. And pricing it right only attracts buyers. That's why we call this a price magnet. The smartest sellers base your price on competition, not on emotional value. And right behind pricing, we have photos. And I can tell you, photos can either make or break your listing. And then let me stress this to you. Photos are your first showing. Today, buyers are making decisions in seconds, especially online. They're not reading descriptions. They're not looking at floor plans. They're looking at those first 3, 4, 5 photographs, and that's it. If you don't get their attention within those first 3 to 5 photos, you've lost them. If those photos aren't perfect, buyers are just going to scroll by. Professional photographs just don't look better. They make the house look bigger, brighter, and of course more valuable. They highlight the natural light, the flow, and the features that buyers want to see. They make spaces look intentional and care forward. And here's the thing. Professional photos can make the difference between 10 showings and 100 showings. And we all know that more showings leads to offers. But I have a caveat with this: virtually staged photos. I get it, empty properties don't look that great. But if you stage a photograph, buyers have an expectation when they show up, it's going to look like that. When they show up and it's an empty building, it kind of looks weird. If you're doing any staging, you got to do real furniture staging. So in reality, buyers are expecting to see in person what they've seen online. If not, they're just feeling misled and they might move on just because of that. And talking about staged homes, buyers aren't buying your life. They're buying a version of their future lives. And that's a huge difference. When buyers walk into a house and they see that it's decorated with family photos, personalized items, huge dog beds, huge furniture, they don't see possibility. They see clutter and disaster. They see your life and they're not seeing theirs. When they see your life, your personality, and your routines, it's almost impossible for them to see themselves living there. So here's what to remove before you're ever thinking about selling. Oversized or bulky furniture. These make the rooms look smaller than they really are. Your job is to make sure the room looks bright and airy. You're getting rid of any personal decor. And yes, any pictures that you have hanging on the walls. You're getting rid of the kids' toys and books. Anything that looks cluttered. We don't want any colorful chaos. And don't forget the pet beds, crates, the feeders, and the scratching posts. And lastly, clutter, especially on countertops. Now here's what to add, so it feels like they can envision themselves living in your home. Neutral bedding in the bedrooms. Fresh towels in the washrooms. Think what hotels are normally using. Nice and bright, nice and white. Very simple and modern artwork. Nothing controversial or loud. Clean and open space help the house say, welcome, I'm moving ready. And let's be clear, this is about open spaces. And we're giving the buyers the opportunities to dream about what they would look like living in your home. By the way, if you think your house needs a little bit of preparation before hitting the market and you want a guide on that, take 20 seconds and fill out my survey. I'll get you a guide to get your house ready to sell ASAP. I'll help you figure out what to fix and what to ignore, and how to position your home so buyers fall in love with it. Let's get into the reason that no agent wants to talk about. And it's because it shines a big bright spotlight on what they're doing, or what they're not really doing. And this is the one agents never like to admit. Your home is not going to sell if no one sees it. Some agents just throw your house up on the MLS, put a sign on the lawn, and they pray. They think the universe is going to do the rest for them. And that's not the way it works. In the Toronto market, your house needs exposure in order for it to sell. Here's what real marketing actually looks like. Targeted digital marketing. So the right buyers see your home and not just anybody scrolling. Social media placement, because today's buyer lives on social media. This isn't just a simple just listed post or a braggy post that, hey, look at me, I'm the best realtor in the world. This is a true marketing piece to get buyers to DM for extra information about your home. Next, we have YouTube walkthroughs. Out of town or out of province buyers use YouTube to find homes. They can tour your home before they even come to the GTA. Then we have floor plans. Floor plans are important because it gives the buyer perspective on what the layout of the house is. Neighborhood highlighting content is important. They get to know the schools, the parks, the rec centers, shops, and doctor offices, all the amenities that neighborhood has to offer. All this because buyers care about locations. And then there's weekly email marketing, promoting your home to an active buyer pool. Then there's retargeting campaigns, bringing people back to your digital marketing tools that they've already seen. When your house is properly marketed, it will get attention. When it gets attention, it gets showings. When it gets showings, it gets offers. Good marketing equals visibility. And visibility, of course, equals offers. And without marketing, you're basically hosting a party where you forgot to send out the invitations. Let's talk about something that's going to sting a little bit. But sellers, you need to hear this. Sellers, you can price high or have an outdated house. Not both. Let me repeat this. You can price it high or you can have an outdated house. Not both. Buyers today are paying attention to everything. And it's because they're paying top dollar. They'll notice the old stained carpets, the bad paint jobs, original kitchens and baths, dated lighting and switches. They'll see the deferred maintenance. If your house hasn't been updated in years, buyers are going to see this. And they're going to expect the price to reflect that. Selling a house isn't about the memories that you have in the home. It's not about the potential that it could be, but it's about the condition that the home is in today. And here's the truth. You don't have to remodel your entire home. All you have to do is accurately align your pricing with the condition of your home. Buyers will pay a premium for updated homes, but they're also going to discount ones that need updates. The key is to be honest with the market before the market is honest with you. And here's the most uncomfortable situation there is. Smells. Buyers think this, but will never say it. But I will. Smells kill deals. Not only kills, but it actually destroys them. Buyers are going to tour the home, they're going to smell politely, but as soon as they get outside, first thing they're going to do is bring up that smell. And let me be clear, no, absolutely not. They're not going to be interested. And let's guess why. It's either pets or smoking. And sometimes old carpets are just holding on to old memories of years past. And then there's food odors. Don't forget about those. Here's one thing that sellers don't realize. Smells for most people are emotional. Buyers can forgive ugly paint. They can forgive an outdated countertop, but it's hard to forget yesterday's dinner mixed with German Shepherd. The good news is smells can be fixed. Deep clean your carpet, wash your fabrics, air out the house, and you're using neutralizers, not perfumes. Again, neutralizers and not perfumes. If the home smells clean, buyers think it's well maintained. And that's the exact impression you want. And the last reason, buyers can't reach your agent. And believe it or not, this happens more than you think it does. You might be saying, well, the agent answers all my calls. Well, guess what? You're in his contact list, and he's an idiot if he doesn't pick up the phone when you call him. So your name is popping up on their caller ID, so they're quick to answer your call. But many times, many agents aren't answering all the other calls. So if you're remotely thinking about selling your home, take 20 seconds, get to my survey, and I'll reach out to you as soon as possible. And don't forget, as always, like and subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get notified when the new videos come up. Cheers.